Before introducing GST, our indirect tax structure in our country was very complicated. There was no formalities for doing business was very complicated. Customers were paying more price. That there so many formalities, procedures for the business people to comply. Lot of registration requirements. So it was completely complicated structure for indirect tax system. And then there was a need for introducing GST, and we have seen that how the GST was introduced in our country. The developments over the years and how it has evolved at this level today. So here in this module, we are going to see that what all problems faced before introducing GST, what are the objectives of GST, and what are the post developments after introducing GST. So first let us look at the problems before introducing GST. You know that central taxes were different, state taxes were different. It was not possible to combine it into one tax structure. So loopholes were there in the system, people were making use of that. Then second is interstate transfer of goods and services was difficult. Different levels they have to pay the tax. Then the cost the consumer is paying will be more, because each stage whatever the tax paid is added to the next stage. There was no provision for input tax credit. Then there was no transparency in the system. So there was problem with without using the technology. Information was not transparent. So all these problems has paved the way for introducing GST. So GST was introduced in our country with the following objectives. First is unification of different taxes charged by the central government and the state governments. See, now we have central goods and services tax, state goods and services tax, union territory goods and services tax, and integrated goods and services tax. So it's the combination of central and state taxes. Then input tax credit mechanism that has reduced the cost of goods. Each stage whatever tax is paid, you can reduce from the next level or from the final product as per the provisions of the GST. Then that reduce the cost of goods and services which the consumer is paying, because input tax credit reduce the cost of goods and services, and that has benefited the customers. Then the transparency in the system. Now GST, there is registration, tax payments, that whatever data they have filed with the GST, everything is available in the GSTN portal. They have their unique identification number. With that they can log in and they can do all that. Right from registration, payment of taxes, all compliances, claiming the refund, input tax credit, everything is possible. So the information is transparent and it is helping the people who are willing to do the business. So it is a completely technology driven. Then anytime you want to collect any information, it is available in the GSTN portal. You can log in with your ID and then you can collect the information. Government can also check that whatever information they want to check. The compliance requirements are much easy. So these are the objectives of introducing GST, and what is happening in the after post GST. One is GSTN Council, GST Council, that is that Union Minister, Union Finance Minister, Union Minister for Deputy Minister for Finance, then other members, Union Ministers of Finance representing or nominated by the different state governments. It is coming as a rotation, so every state government with different representation, all northeastern, south, east, west, everybody will get representation. So their ideas will be represented in the GST Council, and whatever their suggestions, tax rates, exemptions, compliance, everything they can recommend to the that will be, their recommendations will be considered. Then there is unification of tax. There is no tax, separate tax and charged by the center or state. Then there is better transparency. Any information you want, you can collect it by logging into the system. Government can also check the records. So in effect, if you see that the pre-introduction of GST, the system was very complex. With the certain objectives, GST was introduced in our country. And when you see the developments, post-developments, after introducing GST, you can see that government has achieved that. So the complex indirect tax structure in our country is coming into a technology driven, modern and unification of taxes all that, reducing the cost of goods and services, and the final consumer is getting the benefit. All that is happening with the introduction of GST in our country.